Very good morning to everyone. To introduce myself to you all, my name is Amish Shukla, and I'm the AVP Business Development at eClat Engineering, which is the provider of MyLoft, My Library on Fingertips. On behalf of myself and our whole team at eClat Engineering, we are delighted to have a leadership webinar on in the services of libraries, sharing efforts to help institutions bounce back from the pandemic for leaders associated with knowledge resource centers today. A very kind thank you to Team Allied Publishers Subscription Agency for coordinating the webinar. Our sincere gratitude to Mr. Arjun Sachdeva, who have already joined, partner of Allied Publishers Subscription Agency, and to Mr. Mark Ritchie, Vice President Business Development, eClat Engineering. Again, thank you all for your participation in this event, and we sincerely hope that what you learn in today's session will be valuable and applicable to your decision making in the selection of the technological solutions. I would like to kindly pass the session forward to Mr. Arjun Sachdev, partner of Allied Publishers Subscription Agency, to say a few words on COVID-19 disruption at the libraries. Mr. Arjun, please.
Thank you, Amit, and very good morning to everyone. I'm going to quickly share my screen, and then we can start with my presentation.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Yeah, Amit, can you see me?
It's visible. It's visible.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
So, firstly, a very good morning to all the participants. And before I start, I just hope that all of you are safe during these really trying and, I could even call it desperate times. It's been a very tough few months or almost half the year of having COVID. And it's been very frustrating for all of us, but also we have gained lots from having COVID in terms of we spend more time with the family and we had more time to introspect. And also we learned a lot about technologies. So today's presentation that I would be giving to all of you here would be about how COVID disrupted the library services, mainly in India, and I guess it would also apply to other countries as well. And also, what did Allied do as a partner to help mitigate these disruptions? And I'd like to end it off with just a quick, learning from, from this whole situation. So the first slide is about the disruption and mitigation of COVID, which I'll get into after I show you the agenda for today. We talk about the disruption, we talk about what Allied has done. For those of you who are not aware of Allied, we have been in the business of providing content to the academic, research, and the corporate library market and India and the subcontinent for the last, 80 plus years. So we started off like a regular, book importer, then we progressed to a publisher, then we became a subscription agent, and now we are providing even, online content and technologies. And the last part would be the learnings about, about COVID-19 and, what happened to us as a company, and also the learnings that our clients had after dealing with COVID-19. So the disruption at libraries happened in India in very different manner. For instance, in India, if you're aware, lockdown was imposed based not only on state and district, but also within cities. So for instance, I am in Mumbai, and the place where I stay has two PIN codes. It has 400013 and 400018. So one gate is 13 and one gate is 18. And you won't believe, one side of the gate was actually blocked and there was a lockdown, and the other side of the gate, there was no lockdown for almost a couple of weeks. So the disruption to libraries was also based on this. It was very area specific and not so much, state, district, or city specific. The libraries also had to go through a lot of disruption in terms of hygiene and protocol, in terms of those, those hand sanitizers and, making sure that people are being thermal scanned, as well as cleaning books and shelves and reading rooms with disinfection, and also monitoring the users, the patrons at the library. A big issue that most of our clients had was also a lot of patrons, so be it the students or the professors or the researchers or scholars, being rather upset, because they had time to actually do research or to learn something new, but unfortunately, because of COVID, there was social distancing, there were issues of journals not being supplied on time, there were issues of books not being supplied on time, because as you know, because of COVID-19, a lot of the supplies from abroad also was not happening. And also there were issues of material handling. So because libraries in a country like India are still very traditional, we still use a lot of books, a lot of print journals. A lot of time, because of COVID and because of the fact that COVID could be transmitted through the surface area, material handling of content was also disrupted. There were also a lot of issues with budgeting and operational hurdles. So what I mean by budgeting is that, when COVID struck us, it was sometime in the month of end of March, which was right at the year ending. So a lot of orders or a lot of processes which should have happened in March did not happen. It got delayed till June, July, August, and in some cases it never happened. So we have clients also who have not renewed their subscriptions for 2020 till date. So what we did, and what we have actually figured out at Allied is that, it's great to be a partner during the good times, but what truly defines a partner is helping out our esteemed clients during the hard times. So we implemented certain policies within the company. We started working from home. So one fine day, I sent a truck to the offices and they picked up all the computers, scanners, printers, picked it up and dropped it at each and every staff's home so we could work at home. We also changed our delivery address. So for instance, initially, Mumbai was under lockdown, so we changed the address to our Ahmedabad office. Then once the COVID situation in Ahmedabad also became quite bad, the Delhi address was changed to home addresses. So now I have colleagues who are also getting supplies of books and journals at their home address. During these times of COVID, we try to also convince our publishers to offer free content to our clients, because our clients have been subscribing to journals and also purchasing books and books volumes for decades. So in most cases, we convince them to, supposing they place an order for a print book, we convince the client, the publisher, to actually offer the ebook access till the time the print book is supplied. Likewise, we've also convinced publishers to offer access to archive collections during these tough times of COVID till the lockdown is lifted. Supply chain management was also a tough situation. So we had to make sure that, whatever orders came to us before March was complied with, because most banks and financial institutions were also shut for the initial few weeks and months. So we were trying to figure out, how do we make payments abroad? Can we do payments via wire transfer? So we had to change our entire operations on how to handle foreign remittances. We spoke to publishers and also got some really good deals for most of our clients, where we offered, like you get buy 2 ebooks and get 3 ebooks free, or you buy a certain collection and you get, gratis access to another collection for the first year. So we worked out special deal with different publishers based on the requirement of our clients. We had user awareness programs where we had user trainings for patrons, as well as, there were certain institutions that also wanted to understand about the e-resources that we have to offer. So we had these mini webinars and user awareness programs for those institutions where we spoke about what is an e-library, how would an e-library benefit the users at an institution. So we carried out all these online teachings and webinars for clients, as well as those who are not our clients, but those who want to learn about how to set up an e-library or a cyber library. So a few of the learnings that we learned over the last 6-7 months is that online access is key. And for us to have online access, we have to change the mindset of the user, because in a traditional country like India, most senior faculty and senior scientists still have a psyche that they would like to have the print book or the print journal or the print report. To change that mindset took some time, or rather it did not change before COVID. And after COVID, because the mindset was forced to change, we noticed that a lot of clients who were adverse towards online resources were slowly migrating towards that. The current government of India is also promoting the setting up of e-libraries. So we are seeing within different tender portals and different institutional websites that e-libraries are being set up left and right, all over the place, from the northeast to the north, the south, everywhere. There's also a push for the National Online Consortium for India, where the government of India will actually work with certain publishers to set up a nationwide access to content through the country's IP address. There are certain other databases, like for instance, the Wiley-Cochrane library, which is currently available free for any citizen of the country if they're logging in through the Indian IP. State medical universities have shown a great aspiration to subscribe to online content. And we're dealing with multiple also state governments for online content, be it Haryana or Rajasthan or MP. And lastly, the demand for ebooks. I mean, to be very honest with all of you, traditionally, when you talk about e-resources, 95% of e-resources would imply or would actually refer to ebooks. But now I think because of the disruption in supply chain logistics, a lot of demand has also been generated for ebooks, which is also a good sign in the long run. So let's stay at home. And how do we do that? And why do we need to do that? So primarily, we need to do that initially because it's safe to be at home. And right now, with the whole implementation of lockdown and social distancing, I would recommend that most people should try to do their research and their work from home. So it provides a safe space. It also provides you access to critical content which your institution is subscribing to, because it's very important to also have the content which the library has from in the comfort of your home. And this can be achieved through certain remote access solutions that we can talk about a little later. Also, when you stay at home and you're working from home and doing research from home, there's also an increase in the usage of that database. And like all of you know, the usage increases, budget justification is reached, and then the top management of the library committees always have that kind of counter compliant usage report which they can go through and they can justify budgets for the library. So we have also noticed that when institutions are subscribing to certain remote access solutions, the usability and the usage of those databases which they're buying tremendously increases. And last but not the least is being connected. With us being online, we are constantly in touch with each other. I mean, you can technically, send the link of a particular article that you like, or you can also integrate links into PowerPoint presentations and share it for research collaboration. So it's very important to also use remote access solutions to stay connected. So a few things that we have learned, again, is that over the last 6-7 months, the comfort level of the users, the patrons, the professor, the student, the researcher has moved from print to online. Previously only the younger generation was very keen for online, but now we also notice the senior faculty are showing interest in online. There is a migration from print to online, which was slowly happening, but now with the whole COVID-19 situation, the migration has really accelerated. And the learning for us as a business, as a company, is that we don't need an office, honestly. I mean, now our entire operations, from marketing to selling to operations, it's all being done remotely, sitting in our own individual homes. So who knows, maybe in the future, we might not even need an office. So that's a big learning that we as a company, undertook. And lastly, the most important point is the human capacity for burden. And that's important because, human beings are very resilient creatures. And we are like a bamboo, far more flexible than you'd ever believe at first glance. So I always say that, human beings are the most adaptable creature on this planet, and we adapt very quickly. So much so that nowadays I actually find it stranger to leave the home and go to office than work from home. I'm so used to it. So just to sum up, I like to say thank you to all of you for attending this webinar. And it's been a pleasure. And in most cases, please as to why it's important to be happy, because happiness boosts the immune system, and this is published in the Scientific American.
Well,
Beautiful. Thank you
great.
so much,
Thank you.
Arjun, sir.
Thank you, Arjun, for bring us the story behind other side of the table. And we have discussed on how e-libraries set up and government and especially knowledge resource center leaders change their priorities on e-content setup and disruption. You discussed on the disruption thing, and your point on means touch upon on ROI and analytics was really good, and I personally liked the picture of you used to change in users behavior and uh, kindly means putting human capacity in notice. So I quickly pass on the session to Mark so that he can discuss on in the services of libraries sharing efforts to help institutions bounce back from pandemic. So Mark, it's up to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Amit, and thank you so much, Arjun. I'm really happy to hear that, you know, the Allied team has adapted extremely well, moving from an office, of course, and going into a home space. It's definitely a challenge for a lot of us. I know for myself here, I'm based in Vancouver, Canada, and I'm used to spending, you know, anywhere 150, 200 days a year on the road, interacting with people. I love people. I love spending time with customers, and I'd much rather prefer to be, you know, at a library or with you all in person. But the times are what they are, and like Arjun said, we as people, we adapt to change, and we do it very well. And I would also say that librarians, you guys do an amazing job as well, adapting your services and your offerings. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk very briefly just about MyLoft for 5 or 6 minutes, and then I'm going to share with you some insights and some opportunities that we see to help you as an institution bounce back from the pandemic. So we're going to start this off. We're going to start off with a little survey. There's going to be a polling question that's going to come up on your screen. And the question is, do you feel your library has been able to get a satisfactory ROI on e-resources during the pandemic? So this is a big question, and really asking you if, you know, if you've got the value of those collections, and how maybe how you've also engaged, which is quite interesting. So think about that just for a moment. I'll just leave this here for a couple more seconds.
Getting good responses.
Fantastic, yes.
Oh, great.
And thank you all for your participation in this. I wish I had more survey questions today, but this is going to be the only one we're going to ask you. All right, so I'm going to end this poll and I'm going to share this with you all. So you can all see, do you feel your library has been able to get a satisfactory ROI on e-resources during the pandemic? So 46% of respondents have said not satisfied, needs major improvement. 38% of you have said somewhat satisfied and there's room for improvement. And 2 of you, 15%, have said extremely satisfied. We were well prepared. I'm thrilled to hear that. And you know, for those users who've said they're not satisfied, you know, there's a way forward. It might not be with MyLoft. We hope that it will be with MyLoft, that we will help you to improve your ROI. But I hope to, in today's session, what I share with you are all things that you can learn and that you can take forward in your institution in an effort to bounce back and to get that ROI and to also engage with their users. So many of you are familiar with eClat Engineering as a company. We are headquartered in Ahmedabad, India, and I'm based in Vancouver, Canada. And so as a company, we build technology for libraries, for users of content, to help them to facilitate a more seamless access to their content. Some of our esteemed customers include the British Council, companies like General Electric, Toshiba, Tsinghua University, NTU in Singapore, Tech Mahindra, and many others within India, and also in the surrounding regions. So today we want to talk about MyLoft just very briefly, as I mentioned. So MyLoft, My Library in Fingertips, helps libraries to facilitate seamless and secure access to library subscribed premium e-resources, resulting in an increased ROI on subscriptions and an advancement on research output. Our ecosystem is a full suite. It's an app, a web app, and a browser extension, making it easy for your users to discover, to access, to organize, and to share personal and professional content. So the major shift here that you will see is that MyLoft is intended for the user. It's built for the individual user experience. We can look at traditional platforms where, you know, the whole experience is built around that library portal. Not that that's a bad thing, because, you know, it serves the purpose of driving users into the website, but it also, on the counter side, it creates an additional step. And what we aim to do is to help users to control and to access their own workflows. I'm going to give you an example. So as I mentioned, there's an app, a mobile app, which is a standalone app. There's a web app and a browser extension. I'm going to talk about the browser extension first, because this is extremely powerful. The browser extension is an inbuilt Chromium browser extension, and it identifies library subscribed databases. So what happens is when a user goes onto a Google search, whether it be within the app or whether it be in on the web app, mobile app, when they do a keyword search, and if content comes up, you know, from a publisher that's whitelisted or that's subscribed to, that user will actually be notified. They will see a notification that they have access to that premium database. That's an additional point to help them, to help you to increase that usage, increase the visibility of those e-resources. The additional point is that we also integrate your library subscribed premium or open source discovery tools. So if you have a subscription to a tool like EBSCO Discovery, or maybe it's Summons Primo, you can actually choose to integrate that into the MyLoft app, which will allow you better value of that search tool. Lastly, it also gives you direct access to the preferred publishers that the user creates. So under the e-resource tab that you see, the user is able to just go ahead and to choose their favorite publisher and access that content right away without having to take the extra steps of logging in, because it is a one-time login experience. Now, my favorite tool with MyLoft is the browser extension, because I think it's extremely powerful. It has an inbuilt transparent proxy. So, you know, when you look at our tool like Remote Access, it's a proxy rewrite solution. So it's very apparent to the users that they're going through a proxy. The browser extension is transparent. They won't even recognize. But again, they are able to control their workflow. So if they want to go to one of their favorite publishers, say they want to go to ACS, they want to go to Emerald Publishing, they want to go to Wiley, they just type in that domain and they'll be instantly authenticated. The other thing is if they do a keyword search, as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, in this example, they've searched biomedical, and you can see that ACS has come up as a result. And that MyLoft logo identifies to the user that there's a subscribed database. Now, that being said, it's all about letting the user control their workflow. And that's what's extremely powerful. And that's how you also get, you know, engagement and return on investment.
Imagine your personalized library could fit into a single app, giving you the platform that is sensitive about your needs for professional and personal content. A versatile mobile and web app that enables you to discover, access, organize, and share your library's subscribed e-resources and digital content of your interest seamlessly across platforms, anytime, anywhere. No need to remember your password and log in multiple times to access e-content. For MyLoft, you just need to log in once. You can easily access the latest journal articles, databases, and ebooks subscribed by your institution. Using MyLoft Chrome extension, you can discover and save articles with a single click from any website and secure off-campus access to library-subscribed e-resources. MyLoft syncs saved content between PC and mobile, making it convenient for patrons. Discover your favorite content using voice command in search engines recommended by your institution.
Neuropsychological function in children.
The app allows you to systematically manage your saved articles and research papers by tagging and organizing them into collections. You can save content from your favorite websites, blogs, news feeds, or institute subscribed e-resources and read them offline, no matter where you are, in an airplane or on the land. You don't need to worry about unwanted advertisements and images that come along with the original content of the article. The built-in article viewer allows a clutter-free text reading, highlighting, listening, and more.
Chapter 1. General Principles of Endocrine Physiology. Objectives. Contrast the terms endocrine.
The world of e-content is now accessible at your fingertips like never before. MyLoft will empower you in systematically imbibing research values. Download the app and explore more. Welcome to MyLoft.
Perfect. So I want to start off now, and I want to start and talk about the human connection. And Arjun briefly talked on this, but I think it is so important and it's so relevant. You know, it is something that many of us miss today. You know, given the COVID, we're in lockdowns, and you know, a lot of us are not able to engage with users, with patrons, with our colleagues, associates, even family in some cases. You know, what we are seeing is that the library is the center of a community. And moving forward as a library, we will have to be very intentional on how we help patrons, help our colleagues, help our associates, focus on rebuilding social connections. So I recently read an article, and it was about human connection. And the definition that they gave was that it's an exchange of energy between people who pay attention to one another. It's a unique opportunity to deepen the moment, to inspire change, build trust, build communication. So, you know, with that human connection, you know, Arjun, you know, he did mention that, you know, it boosts the immune system, but it's also very easy when you're face to face with the user to demonstrate, you know, emotional intelligence, if you will, emulate things like empathy and compassion when people need it, improves people's higher, you know, their self-esteem, regulates emotions, lowers anxiety and depression. So I feel that, you know, as the libraries in the past have been in outside in, we as institutions need to take a forward-looking approach, and as I mentioned, an intentional focus to be an inside-out approach, reach out to the users and to build personal connections with people. So COVID-19 has left research libraries scrambling to support a swift and unprecedented switch to digital. I want to emphasize the word here, scrambling. Scrambling, you know, it's coming in all directions. we are being pushed, we are being challenged to make the switch. Some of us have implemented hybrid models. So when I say hybrid, it's a mix of on-site and off-site. But now, so more than ever, we are being pushed to go with the digital first model. And this is what we're all working towards. And hopefully by the end of the session, you're going to have some ideas and some suggestions on how you can improve that.
Canadians are responsible for one
sorry for the
half of the world's
advertisement
fresh
here.
water. Even at home, we can
Quick
save
moment.
water as easily as skipping the rinse before loading the dishwasher. Together, we can set an inspiring example for an increasingly water-challenged world.
What this crisis has emphasized or has magnified is that we still have a digital divide that impacts communities that need that service the most, that are vulnerable from many aspects. And so the challenge for public life.
So really what's happened here now is that, COVID-19 has not only emphasized, it's magnified the fact that there is a digital divide that impacts our communities and users and patrons who are absolutely extremely vulnerable, but they need services, right? So this might be something very simple from, your library patron not having the right technology to study and to take advantage of e-resources and content. Maybe they don't have a PC, but maybe they only have a mobile device. This could also stem as far as into mental health issues and the sense and the loss of community. Could you imagine, being a student and even yourselves in the library, day after day, interacting with associates, having friends in your classroom, this takes a toll on everybody. There's nobody exempt from what's taking place right now. So there's a lot of people who are struggling with mental health, and we as institutions most likely are going to have to implement some type of resources or tools to help users get beyond this. I've also read some papers, at least in North America, and I don't know what it's like in India, but in Europe, North America, they're saying that this year there will be the highest amount of dropouts in college and university. Every industry is affected. Lots of students have part-time jobs, and this is what they use to pay, for their tuition or for their textbooks. Now, if they don't have a part-time job, they can't support their studies. That also becomes a challenge, which many of them will drop out. So are there ways that our libraries, that we can help support these community initiatives and support users when they need it the most? Change equals opportunity. It's so easy for us to look at the negativity of COVID, but there is an upside. The upside is that we have a very small, unique, a small window of opportunity that we can actually change, we can improve, we can develop, we can focus on what's important. I know for myself, I'll just give you a very personal example. Somebody who spends, like I said, 150, 200 days a year on the road, being at home has actually been a very great thing for me. I've been able to build a better relationship with my family. And I hope, for the same on a personal note, I hope that's the same for a lot of you. But do we miss our friends? Do we miss our associates and colleagues? Absolutely. But this is an opportunity for us, even on a personal level, improve ourselves. And on a professional level, it's an opportunity for us to build something bigger, better, and brighter that's going to serve the next level of learners. So really, what do we need to do to elevate our libraries? We've identified a few things. It's a rapid recovery response, and we say shape up. So, S, it's a startup mindset. So I want to encourage you and challenge you to think like entrepreneurs. What do we need to know? We need to ask questions. We need to understand, what are the challenges? What are the pain points? What are the needs of our patrons? How can we make their world better? We have to remember that in the roles that we play, We are servant leaders, right? We are serving the students, we are serving the learning, the education community. So we need to be in that startup mindset and understand exactly what those needs and those challenges are, so that we can take that information, we can build on the insights that they've given us. H, human at the core. We talked about the benefits of a human connection. How can we facilitate and activate personal connections? So whether it be that we build out digital communities or that we connect students with other users or other faculty who can support them or who can engage with them, challenge them. Maybe it's digital communities, maybe it's forums, maybe there's still an opportunity to build small socially distanced groups where people can engage and connect. We need that human connection. And as institutions, we need to find ways to provide our patrons with a true sense of community. A is for advancement of digital technology. I think this is very straightforward. We need to understand the pain points. We need to understand the challenges. What are the users really looking for? What do they really need? It's not about reinventing the technology or reinventing workflows, but we need to find tools that we can help our institutions go to the next level and address those issues and those challenges. P is for purpose-driven customer playbook. So can we move the industry as one? I know for myself, and I believe that the industry and institutions and also users, they like to act with purpose. So think about what draws the user to your library beyond content. What drives them to use or to engage with your technology, with your resources? Are there different causes? Are there different issues in the community that your library can help champion? If there's a way that you can get your students to engage with you at the library on a deeper level, I think you have a winning solution. Last but not least, E, ecosystems that adapt to user behavior. So technology and solutions need to be able to allow the users to integrate that technology into their traditional day-to-day workflows. I give you an example, on my loft, as I mentioned, the user having control on how they want to engage. There's communication tools built in. There's also different ways that content can be shared through, tools that they already use, like WhatsApp, WeChat, Line Messenger, Facebook, for that matter. So find systems and technology that will help you to adapt to that user behavior. Recovering, identify, and prioritize. So we like to call these the now or never moves. As I mentioned earlier, we are in this unique window, the small window of opportunity for us to, improve our offerings and, to improve our customer base. And our customers are our patrons. So we need to move forward with digital first initiatives. I think this is very straightforward for everybody. It's very much on the minds. How are we going to be available in the hands and in the pockets of the users? Right in front, meet the users where they are. What do we use to engage our users? How do we get their attention? How do we get them to continually be focused and connected into our library systems? So we can focus a lot on user engagement. Going back to that human connection point, we need to find a way to restore human connection. It sounds cliche, but it is so important at this time when there are issues that are coming into play. There's a lot of people who are extremely feel disconnected from everything. So a way that you might be able to restore human connection is just pick up the phone and call your students, call your patrons. Hi, this is Mark from the library. How are things going? Do you need any help with your research? Are you missing anything? How can we serve you? Last but not least, as I mentioned this earlier, mental health. And I truly believe that every library should have a piece of content or resources that are accessible, or a list of places that they can access information and content and connect with somebody if they're having challenges. We all love people. This is why we are in the roles we are. We engage with people. So let's also make sure that we are in a position to take care of our users and our students. Recovering usage, the ROI, return on investment, is an important element in reimagining the return, right? It's an important element in reimagining the return of your library. You need to find ways to build that return on investment. There's, in that survey at the very front, more than 50% of you have said that we don't feel we got the value of our collections, of our e-resources. So how do we help you to recover that revenue, that ROI? So we're going to look at 3 things really quick. The first thing is the ecosystems and adaptability. And I should have also added in here usability. Look at the strategy. The first thing is the strategy. You want to talk, you want to be open, you want to have participants, you want to build relationships with your students, with your patrons. That value exchange is, you tell me, what are your needs? What are your goals? What do you need to achieve? And us as a library, the value exchange is that we will do our best to meet those demands, meet those needs, and to support you with the technologies so that you can have that usability. The second point is act with urgency. We don't want to do a rush job or a hack job on anything, but we need to act fast. We know that, COVID, it could be another 6 months, it could be another year, but regardless of what the situation is, we need to act fast and with urgency, because there are a lot of students who are actually falling behind in their studies, and we need to be in a position to help get them back to the level that they need to be at. And develop an agile operating model, right? Make sure your systems are efficient, not only for your staff, but also for your users. How do we simplify research? How do we simplify access to e-resources? How do we simplify personal connections for them? I think I'll just paste the slide here. Sorry. Rethinking the organization. If you've not read this book, Start with Why by Simon Sinek. Think about who you are, why do you do what you do, and how do you work? And then ultimately, how do you grow your library? I still believe that in this digital era, this digital age now, especially with the transformation taking place of in outside in to inside out, I believe there's even a greater opportunity for us to grow. We are forced now to engage and to look out of the physical library to make sure that we are supporting each and every student. So rebuilding operations, I'm going to start from the very bottom left corner here. Embrace the future of work. Everything has changed for us. Many of you are now working from home. Some of you are doing kind of a hybrid, half and half home, half in the office. So we need to also embrace those challenges and understand what those users are doing. So refocus those digital efforts to reflect in the changing customer expectations. Use data, any data you have, the Internet of Things, AI, anything you can use to better manage your operations, make things more efficient, more usable, more reachable to the users is what we need to do. When we talk about data, you can also look at some of your platforms and your technology products and solutions should be giving you insights on your users. Do they tell you, we have 30% using iOS, but we have 70% using Android, or we have this mix of users using Chrome or Firefox or mobile or PC. If you understand how how the users are accessing content, you can make sure that your services, your technologies are best optimized for those users. You can accelerate the tech modernization. So if you have technology already, but you see that it's out of date, it's not doing the job that it's intended to do, look at what you can do to upgrade or to update it. There's a lot of SaaS offerings in the marketplace that can help you to take your technology to the next level on a subscription basis. And also, with the challenges of COVID being offsite, there have been a lot of institutions who've moved their data, moved their technology from on-site servers into the cloud so that they can better support in the future. And increase the speed and the productivity of the users. So any technology that you implement at your institution, you need to be able to help the users to increase the speed and the productivity, whether it be the research output or just how they engage with content. So rebuilding the future, just kind of tying up things here. So as I mentioned, building communication. Communication builds trust. Building that human connection. How are you guys doing? How can we support you? Every touch point matters in that user journey and in that experience with the patron. So chatbots, even on your library website or on a library app, wherever possible, try to introduce a chatbot. These are ways that you can connect with your users. You can have the AI ask questions. What are their needs? What are their challenges? You can prompt them for a survey to understand what the users are looking for, right? So communication increases engagement, and engagement increases the return on investment. A few marketing tactics that we're just going to close off with. Leverage your digital platforms. Any platform and any digital product, electronic product that you have, leverage what it's capable of. Leverage the social media. If you can engage with students and have campaigns where they share, or maybe they're rewarded, maybe they can get a dinner delivered to their house, if as a prize. What are those things that we can do to leverage digital, leverage social, and engage with users on a personal level? If your students and your users are excited about your library, excited about the e-resources that you provide, excited about those collections and the value that you give to them, they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell the associates and their peers at the institution. And that's going to help you to engage and get ROI. I talked about this very briefly in a couple slides back. Use that data to your advantage. Understand what platforms users are on. Are most of your users on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Instagram? Find ways that you can learn and take advantage of that data that you have, and so that you can reach and you can better communicate and you can better engage with your students. Know your value as a library. In the past, there's been a lot of institutions who just think of themselves as storage houses. Yeah, we're a library, we have our books and our resources here. Welcome in, But I believe as libraries, we have so much more to offer. We are that center of community. We're the center of community, on campus. We are also the ones that need to be able to reach out to talk to our customers, talk to our patrons, and share that value with them. Last but not least, keep your brand relevant and be creative. When we talk about being creative and how you might engage, maybe you want to do it, maybe you want to do a short video, or maybe you want to get creative on how you build technology or how you provide solutions to users. Why not engage students who are learning about technology or who are practicing studying about technology? Get them involved with your library. Let them have purpose. Be creative in different ways to get users to engage with you. Keep your brand relevant. Again, social media is your friend, especially in this day and age. Find things that are shareable. It doesn't always have to be about the library. It could be tips and tricks on how to take care of yourself or how to, pass these moments, book recommendations. It could be, different ways to learn, mental health, as we talked about before, lots of different ways that you can be creative and that you can engage and to keep your brand as a library relevant for your users. So I'd like to really sincerely thank you for your time today. Thank you for engaging with us and tuning in on the session. If you have any questions or if there's anything that you would like to bring up as a discussion point, maybe you have some tips or ideas on how you can also help, or ideas that will be useful for people to help get through this period of time, we'd be happy to hear that. Following the session, you're going to receive a survey. We hope that you'll take a moment to just engage, answer a few of those questions. And if there's any way we can service you, ourselves, our team at Allied, it would be our absolute pleasure to work with you and to support any initiatives that you have. So thank you very much. And I wish you all good health. I hope you all stay safe. And if you have any questions, please feel free to do so in the Q&A area or in the comments here on the Zoom chat. So are there any questions that we see?
No, I can't. We can wait.
All right, in any case then, I would like to, as I said, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. I hope it was very interesting. I hope it was relevant to you all. And have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and stay safe and stay healthy. And thank you, Arjun, sir, for joining us as well, and for sharing your insights at Allied. And again, also thank you for your partnership.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mark.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Thanks. Bye now.